We saw the champions, we saw the bands, we saw the cheerleaders, we saw the fans. They say on any given Saturday it's possible to win. So let's talk about the season from the start to the end. We saw the champions, we saw the bands, we saw the cheerleaders, we saw the fans. They say on any given Saturday it's possible to win. So let's talk about the season from the start to the end.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the No Huddle. It is crunch time for Black college football. Half of the CIAA championship is set. The SIAC is down to the Final Four, and the MEAC and SWAC, they're going into your granddaddy's records, and they're going to straighten things out. Lattimore style. I think that was Lattimore, right? Lattimore, let's straighten it out. Well, 3 games remaining in the regular season on the Division I side, and we still have a lot of figuring out to do there. But let's kick things off in the MEAC. South Carolina State versus North Carolina A&T. The Bulldogs could take a bite of first place with a win. And over in the tailgate section, it's a special chili recipe that has a little deeper meaning. Wally Pitt has more.
Hey, y'all, come quick. Them dogs out here fighting in Orangeburg again.
Let them dogs out!
The Garden City was turned into a back alley when North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State finally put the paws on one another in a game to decide who will be the MEAC's top dog going into the championship leg of the season. Out in the tailgate, I caught my Dukes grilling and doing the cha-cha slide at the same time.
Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Crisscross.
Man, this is some special chili right here. Actually, my husband, my late husband, he got killed about 3 years ago. So he's the expert in the chili. So I kind of took up that recipe from him. So I can tell you what the recipe is, but don't tell it to nobody else. I was just kidding. But yeah, so basically, we put like a little barbecue sauce, ketchup, chili powder, a little pancake syrup.
So talk to me about your twins. How did they, where are y'all from, and how did they end up coming to South Carolina State?
Actually, we're from Anderson, South Carolina. And actually, one of the twins wanted to go to Benedict. So when he visited Benedict, the other twin said, no, I want to go to South Carolina State. So next week we came to South Carolina State. So both of them decided they want to come here. So this is their first year they started playing football. So they're redshirted right now. So a couple of Lord's will, they'll have their strength to learn their plays. That way they'll have some playing time next year.
This is a big game. I mean, the game from last week gave us a lot of hope. I think we got a chance. That's all we need. I mean, we had Florida A&M beat until the last minute, and Florida A&M defeated them. So I think we got a chance, and that's all we can ask for.
And what keeps you coming back every year to the tailgate, to the games, just to the university? What keeps you connected?
This is my school. My school's always been good to me. And so I bought season tickets to support the program, even if I can't make every game. So, yeah, I believe in this school.
Yeah, I just refereed in the CIAA 14 years. The MEAC, I did that for 5 years. Basketball. Had an opportunity to do girls basketball. And I got a deep appreciation for HBCU colleges and universities. And I think if any African American would like to get a good education, they need to consider, I would like for them to consider one of the HBCU colleges. Because a lot of the manufacturers and the job seekers are looking for good students that are coming from the HBCU college. So if you ever want to get ahead, I think you get a grand education in the HBCU. And I love them from my heart. I don't mind a higher university, but ain't nothing like an HBCU education, especially when you got game day, tailgating, and meet old friends and rejuvenate old relationships. Ain't nothing like it in the world.
I'm Gerald Gilmore. This is the Gilmore family. And South Carolina State and North Carolina A&T is playing today, and they're rivals. I went to school here. Our kids go to school here and at A&T. And so we came out here today to fellowship and enjoy the game and to brag for bragging rights.
So is it a friendly rivalry? What's the?
Oh no, it's not a friendly rivalry now. Really, some of us might not be talking after the game. We hope it don't be that bad.
Has the Aggie South Carolina State smack talk kind of kicked back up a little bit because of how big this game is?
For sure.
She would know.
For sure. There was a lot of talk about it, and I think we're ready though. I think we're ready.
Okay, yeah, I know y'all ain't scared of nobody at this point.
No, we ain't scared of nobody. We ain't gonna run down from nothing. Three-time champs, buddy. What it say? What it say? That's what it talks to speak for itself.
Aggie Pride, three-time champs, as the dude said. We come to play. We ain't come to play. What? We come to give you some Aggie Pride.
The Marching 101 came in with them things locked and loaded. But the BGMM wanted the world to know that they some musical gangsters out here. And it won't nothing soft on the field either, as both squads showed that they are tougher than a $2 steak. South Carolina State marking their territory early. First quarter, Corey Fields hits Omar Cummings on the screen. He takes it 48 yards down to the 9. That leads to a field goal, 3-0 Bulldog. Later in the second, Roderick Perry forces a fumble, recovers the fumble. South Carolina State gets the ball back and LeBron Morris breaks loose for a 20-yard run down to the 3. Brown will punch it in from 1 yard out, and the Bulldogs are up 10-0. And them Greek dogs was over there showing out. But here come the Aggies. SCSU backed up against their own end zone, and Tyrese Nick can't get up out the paint fast enough. The Aggies take him down for the 2-pointer, and A&T gets the ball back. Khalil Carter hits Quinzel Lockhart, who hops over a Bulldog for the 29-yard reception. Jermaine Martin, 5 yards, 6 points. He's from South Cac, so you know he had to show some love to the fam, and you know Jermaine loved the kids. 10-9 SCSU barely holding on to that first half lead. A quick 3-and-out gives the Aggies the ball back, and mama, there goes that man, Mr. Get Up and Go Get It, Elijah Bell doing Elijah Bell things. A great grab for 37 yards down to the 7-yard line. Khalil Carter hits the bank for 6 points as he connects with Corey Banks from 4 yards out. 16 unanswered points from A&T in the second quarter gives them a 16-10 lead going into the break. I don't even have to tell y'all that the blue and gold marching machines stay turned. And the Golden Delights know I got much love for them, and it looks like the feeling might be mutual. But we also got to get on up for the Marching 101. They even tried to take the BGMM on a walk. An extra spicy combo served up by the folks over there at South Carolina State. 2 field goals from the Aggies in the third makes it 22-10 going into the fourth quarter. The Bulldogs in need of a big play in a quick way, and DeMontrez Burrows comes through with a 49-yard touchdown reception from Corey Fields. He tops it off with a light shimmy, and we got ourselves a whole ball game, 22-17 in the fourth quarter. The South Carolina State defense was out there making plays. They get the ball back. The offense gets another field goal, 22-20. A&T is now holding on to a 2-point lead. 9 minutes left to play. South Carolina State marching their way towards the end zone, but Corey Fields overthrows Burrows right into the hands of Amir McNeil. A&T dodges a bullet on that drive, but then they get a ball back. In South Carolina State, they go 3-and-out. But an 11-yard first down reception to Elijah Bell seals the deal, and the Aggies leave Orangeburg on top of the MEAC with another big showdown against Bethune-Cookman on the horizon, as the Aggies remind us that to get to Atlanta in December, you're going to have to win in Greensboro in November.
Still going through Greensboro, North Carolina, man. Hey, we run the MEAC, you feel me?
Heading into Saturday's games, here's how things were stacked up in the MEAC. Bethune-Cookman and North Carolina A&T up top. South Carolina State and North Carolina Central with 2 losses apiece in conference. FAMU is unbeaten but not eligible for the postseason, but the Rattler fans are quick to remind you that they are in first place. Not so quick about that ineligible part, but hey, they're fans. When we come back, we'll head over to the CIAA where the North is locked up, but the South is all rah, rah, like a Dungeon Dragon because it has a couple of different scenarios. We'll explain when we return. Welcome back, everyone. In the CIAA, the championship game is set for November 16th in Salem, Virginia. Bowie State will be there again. Will Fayetteville State return? Or will the Shaw Bears bust up in that piece? The Broncos control their own destiny, but Shaw needs an assist from WSSU in the regular season finale, and the Bears will need a win over rival St. Aug. Let's get back to Bowie State now. No Amir Hall, no problem. Bowie's win over Lincoln last weekend puts the Bulldogs at 9-0.
See y'all in Salem.
So Bowie looks like a lock for the upcoming NCAA Division II playoffs. Will another HBCU sneak in or not? Well, we got another 2 weeks to go before the brackets are set, but here's a look at the regional rankings. Remember, top 7 teams are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. Over in the SIAC, Miles College was facing a must-win over the weekend, hosting Kentucky State. Our Nia Sapp was there and caught it all.
The Golden Bears got out early on the Thoroughbreds. As the late singer Leah said, if at first you don't succeed, brush yourself off and try again. That's what Miles QB Daniel Smith did, attempting to get the beautiful pass to Leonard Tyree. Smith not fazed at all by the last play, looking for an open man. This time, he spots DeAndre Fagan hanging in the end zone all by his lonely for the touchdown. Miles up 7-0. Thoroughbreds doing what they can. The big man, Devontae Wright, with the sack. Woo, that was nasty. Going into second, Daniel Smith doing what he does best with the field vision and throws it in for Cohen Hudson, shaking off his defender and tiptoeing in the end zone for another touchdown. The score now 14-0 Mouse. Big shout out to the Purple Marching Machine and the mighty Marching Thoroughbreds. Talk about HBCU unity. The bands performed together for a halftime show that was unforgettable. It was a tribute to the late Camille Cupcake McKinney and fellow ASU Hornet Donovan Level. Coming back second half, a 44-yard field goal by Brady Hamill really set the tone for the game. Man, this guy has a leg on him. Miles leads 17-0. The Thoroughbreds trying to start off with a clean slate into the second half, but Miles didn't turn down their aggressiveness on D. KSU running back Brett Silves shakes a couple of Miles defenders, but is stopped right at the 10. Thoroughbreds going forward on the 4th and 10. Quarterback Jalen Myers spots an open man, but Miles defense doing what they do best and shut it down with quickness. KSU trying to get some points up on the scoreboard, but the field goal attempt was unsuccessful. Hey, check this out. Miles playing unfair at this point. Justin Ruiz with those smooth spin movement. Ooh, eating through those defenders. My God, he made that look so easy. Actually, let's slow that down a bit in slow-mo. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what they're feeding these guys over here at Fairfield, but man, whatever it is, it's worth it.
I'm here with Coach Ruffin. Coach, how did it feel to close out today's game on a positive note?
Well, it was real big. You know, last week in that mud bath we had last week, we didn't play well, fumbling the ball too many times, didn't give ourselves a chance. And, you know, we had to bounce back. I thought our kids played well against a great Kentucky State team, new to the, you know, Coach Jackson new to the SIAC. Man, he had those guys ready to play.
All right, in-state rivalry coming up against Tuskegee next weekend. What's the mindset going in to close out for this SIAC 2019 season?
Well, you know, it always comes down to Tuskegee and Miles in the Western Division title game. That's been that way since I've been here and actually left Coach Slater. But, you know, it's a game. It's in-state rivalry. It's Miles. It's Tuskegee. They got us for homecoming, so that should be fun. We got our work cut out for it. That's a good Tuskegee team. They play hard, so we just got to go to work this week.
Big in-state rivalry game next week against Tuskegee. Tell me, how's it going to be?
You know, it's their homecoming, so it's going to be, you know, it's going to be one of those games. You know, it's kind of like, it's going to be like this, basically. So you got to stop. You know, it's going to be a run game. So we're the number one run defense right now. So, you know, everybody trying to challenge us. So we just got to, you know, take the challenge, you know, keep going, keep playing. You know, it's going to be the same thing like this week.
KSU Thoroughbreds are officially out of the running for the SIAC championship. Coming next week, Tuskegee hosting Miles, an in-state showdown. And only one team will be one step closer to the SIAC championship. From Fairfield, I'm Nia Sapp with HBCU Game Day.
So Tuskegee versus Miles will decide the SIAC West today, and out east, the Fountain City Classic will decide the East Championship between Fort Valley State and Albany State, and then we'll see who makes it to the championship game. Fort Valley without quarterback Slade Jarman. He had a serious ankle injury against Clark Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. He's out for the rest of the year, but let me tell you this, SIAC, when Savannah State becomes eligible for the championship next season, watch out, because the Tigers finished undefeated in the conference this year, and they were picked to finish what? Oh yeah, last in the preseason. When we come back, we'll take a peek at the SWAC and see what's shaping up down south. You're watching the No Huddle. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Tolly Carr. Alcorn State should be a well-rested bunch heading into today's game against Grambling. And they just might need it because Grambling is now wide awake. After losing 4 in a row to start the year, the G-Men have now won 4 in a row. Alcorn had 2 byes bookending their game against Southern, and the Braves are going to finish out the regular season today at Grambling. Then they will host Alabama A&M, and then it's the Soul Bowl at Jackson State this year. Now, could that game at Jackson be for a spot in the SWAC championship? Well, Jackson State had a disappointing start to the year, but they've woken up now. They have won 3 in a row. Jalen Jones, he played 3 quarters last weekend and scored 2 touchdowns. The highly touted recruit hadn't scored a touchdown since the opening weekend loss against Bethune-Cookman in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. So things might be lining up right for Jackson State as we head into the final month of the season. The clubhouse leader in the SWAC West is still Southern University. The Jags, they enjoyed a homecoming win over Alabama A&M last weekend. Southern is out of conference this weekend. They'll be taking on UVL at home. And then they're going to finish things off at the aforementioned Jackson State. And of course, there's this little game, maybe you've heard of it. If they keep playing, it might turn into something. The Bayou Classic. When we come back, we are going to totally flip the script because we have some HBCU hoops. You like the form, you see it, reaching the cookie jar. Hoops on the big stage. It's a precursor to the HBCU Game Day Fast Break, which will be here before you know it. And we're not going to go Old Town Road. We'll hang a left on Tobacco Road when we return. This is my favorite time of the year, everyone. Welcome back to the No Huddle. The air has a little bit of chill in it. Football has that elimination type vibe each weekend now. And we are overlapping with the best sport ever. Don't fight me. Basketball. A lot of exhibition games being played this time of the year. And we were able to catch up with Winston-Salem State University as they rolled into the iconic Dean Dome to take on the University of North Carolina.
No better place than Roy Williams Court in the historic Dean Dome under the banners and iconic jerseys for this season's first taste of HBCU hoops. And it was a Ramley affair in Chapel Hill as WSSU took on the Tar Heels in an exhibition game. Now look, we already know what it is with this one. The Heels got the #1 recruit in the 2019 class in Cole Anthony, plus they got a host of big old jokers like Garrison Brooks and Armando Bacot. But the Rams came up the hill to get active, and regardless of the outcome, playing in one of college hoops' most iconic arenas is a dream for anyone who has ever touched a basketball. So shout out to my Rams for living that real-life hoop dream. But what a spot to set off this year's layup line dunk contest. And yeah, the Heels had some light jams. I'm not gonna act like they weren't throwing down some funk. But these Rams though, cologne off the bounce, a couple fly windmill packages. I'm not capping when I say WSSU got the Heels in the layup line, bruh. That's just facts. Now, it was a different story once that ball got tipped, though. Garrison Brooks led the Heels with 18 points and some pretty litty in-game throwdowns. Cole Anthony gave us 11 and 7 in his NCAA debut, but it was some Rams out there getting busy too now. We got Rob Cologne attacking the rim for a nice bucket. Then he dropped a straight dime on Mason Harrell, who was also out there with the SWATs. Jonathan Hicklin dropped 11 points of his own, showing off his layup package with a couple real fly up and unders. I see you, Jay Hick. And Justice Kithcart led all Rams in scoring with 14 points, hitting 4 threes, which was more than anybody over there in Baby Blue. The Rams got 27 points from their bench, and at the end of the day, the final score is irrelevant. As far as I'm concerned, the Rams held it down for the CIAA against one of the most historic teams in college hoops history on their own home floor. The HBCU Game Day Fast Break will air on Aspire TV right after we wrap up football season, so pump up your pumps, because this season of HBCU hoops won't be one you want to miss.
Some more hoops news for you. The Division II preseason polls are out. Morehouse on the men's side is ranked number 25 in the country. And on the women's side, look out for Virginia Union. They are ranked number 5 preseason, and Benedict is number 25. Before we go this week, shout out to Hampton for winning its first Big South game of the year. And DeAndre Francois, he goes over the 2,000 yards passing mark. So Hampton, they're still in there. We see you, Hampton. Well, that's it for the No Huddle. On behalf of the entire crew, I'm Tali Carr. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Two.